Wake up, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, neighbors. Welcome back. Welcome back from staycations. Welcome back from high school reunions and family reunions and camp reunions. Welcome back to this new year of church life. Happiness guru Gretchen Rubin says that September is the other January. So welcome to this time of resolutions and symbolic new beginnings, a time for renewal, surprises. May new connections blossom, wisdom flow, life beckon us where we need to be. So enter. Neighbors, friends, enter, rejoice, and come in. In that spirit, I invite us to join in singing our first hymn of the season of the new congregational year, hymn number 361 in your gray hymnals. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
We need to sing it one more time. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. One more time.
Don't be afraid of some change.
Yeah. Be afraid of some change. Be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Don't be rejoice and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
No, it's don't be afraid of some change.
It's okay, Reiko, they're good. We'll just hum our way out. Yeah. That's good.
It's only up from here, Alyson.
Exactly. Hello. So good to see you all. For those who had waffle breakfast, how was it?
Delicious.
Thumbs up. Woo. Well, as you know, it's my practice. Now, this year is different because what's missing this year that we've had in previous years that's going to require even more energy from you? We don't have the balloons. And the balloons always add a festive air to our welcoming in. So we're going to have to imagine everybody, actually we're going to imagine everybody has a balloon with them. with tons of helium. Whoa! So I want, with your best energy, I'm going to start with you guys because you're the best group over at this. So the people on this side who have their great balloons, on the count of 3, say hello. Ready? I don't see your balloons yet, though. There we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello! Pretty good. Okay, really, you guys are the best people ever. So on this side, the count of 3, we're gonna do hello. Get your balloons out. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Hello! Wow, nicely done. Okay, now we're gonna try and get you all, which is always a little hard. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hello! Very good. Reiko, I even got you up there. All right, so, is there something?
Yeah, somebody left something here.
Huh.
Did anyone leave something here?
Do you want, here, it's got instructions written on it.
Oh, instructions. All right, let's see.
Okay.
A little present. People are always leaving presents for us.
Yeah.
Anonymous gifts.
I love that.
It is fun. Here we go.
What is in here? So what's it say? Huh. Interesting.
The goggles of enhanced perception.
Goggles of enhanced perception?
Deluxe model.
Deluxe? Well, yeah, you can tell. I mean, check them out.
Shifts perception of the wearer and allows them to spot never before seen details in everyday life. Goggles can be made using any variety of found materials. No special skill required.
Clearly, no.
That's so mean. Sorry, whoever made them.
Yeah.
Design should be suited to individual needs or taste.
Yeah.
Those are perfect for you.
Blue is my color.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Let's see.
You're going to try them on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Whoa!
Wait, hang on, don't.
Woo!
Yeah, don't fall off the steps.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're new. Oh my goodness, Pam, you look stunning in that chair. And Dennis, I don't think I've ever noticed how twinkly your eyes really are. Oh my gosh. Well.
All right, turn around and face the other people.
Not yet. I see you. And that lipstick, that shade of lipstick looks lovely
really?
on
Thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wait.
What do you see?
Well, there's some people on the live stream, and you look, that bathrobe looks great on you. That bathrobe looks great on you. And all of you, I mean, hold on, I'll get back to you in a moment, but let me just look around and, wow, look at the light coming in from there. Those colors that wash over us, all those deep, rich colors. That's amazing.
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? The colors in the stained glass window, how they come and wash over the sanctuary. That's incredible. And Reiko, well, what can I say? You look smashing today, way up there. And even Jonathan hiding over in the corner. That plaid shirt, I don't know. I think it's one of your better ones.
I just want to point out, you said even Jonathan. We're going to take this up at staff meeting.
Yeah,
okay?
right. Fair enough. And the choir, I mean, what can I say? Your voices just fill this space in ways that, touch us deeply. And all of you, well, you're seeing you and your smiles and your beautiful faces. It just enhances my perception. I can't even describe to you what it's like. Now, wearing goggles of enhanced perception means I can see much more keenly than I could without them. But even all my senses, my sense of smell, I notice some lovely bouquets of soap people have, beautiful aromas, and am I picking up Chanel number 5? Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. And, I noticed the notes from our singing, they're still moving around this room. I don't know if you can see them, but they're here. And what that makes me think about, just watching you all, is that feeling those notes in the room, what I keenly keenly sense is that you are people who love to move and dance. You may not perceive that, but I see that. I see you love to laugh. You have like smiles that are just rocking the world here. And even though I'm not hearing a lot of it now, I sense you love to laugh. Can I hear it? Yeah, I definitely picked up that one. You do not like what? The dance. Okay, that's right. Just a little dance like that. Well, along with seeing all of you and your beautiful faces, there's something even deeper, more keenly that I'm feeling. You know, I really am picking up what a caring and kind and thoughtful and generous people you are. And I'm actually noticing when I look deep into your hearts, you are so thoughtful and committed to making this world a better place. Now, I have these enhanced goggles that let me see things that you might not see, so you have to trust me when I say I am so excited about what's going to unfold over the coming year. I see us doing some incredible things together. We're going to have fun, we're going to learn, we're going to grow as a community, we're going to work to make the world a better place, and I hope you will all be a part of that. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah! Come on, like that, a little more time. Yeah? Yes, of course you are! Now, here's also what I'm noticing. I'm noticing some new faces in the room. I think maybe it might be better if I took these off. Now, if you're new here, if this is the first or second time you've been here and you'd be comfortable standing and letting us welcome you, we'd love to do that. So if you're a visitor for the first or second time and you'd like to stand and have us warmly welcome you, it's a neighborly thing to do. Yes, welcome. But please stay standing, because now I'm going to invite everybody to stand. Because, you know, I think a church as a neighborhood, really.
Yeah.
And there's many ways to act neighborly to each other, don't you think, Reiko? Is there a song you've got that might help us get in the mood?
Oh, look.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, my friends. So please, let's take a few minutes to greet your neighbor, and Reiko will play us back out.
Hello, neighbor.
Good morning again.
Hello, neighbor.
Good morning. Do you like my goggles of enhanced perception?
Hello.
Yeah? Good. Hi, you. Good morning. Can I shake your hand?
Hello, neighbor.
That's a neighborly thing to do.
Hello, neighbor.
Hello, neighbors. Nice to see you.
Neighbor.
I'll shake of my goggles of enhanced perception.
Yeah.
Yes, what do you think? Good to see you. Good morning.
And now, if you'd all like to join together and do our unison chalice lighting, the words are on your order of service. We light this chalice for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. We light this symbol of our faith as we gather together.
So it's been our practice these last few years to have a congregational blessing, and I'm just going to run the choreography of it just so everybody's clear for those who are new to it. So because this is the start of the new church year and the new Sunday school year, it's nice to begin the year with a sense of gathering and coming together and reminding us of what it means to be here together as a community, and to offer blessings to our children and youth and to the teachers as they embark on this year ahead, and to know for all of you young folks here that we're here with you and we're here for you, and we don't want you to forget that. And this is a way of just trying to really let that soak in. So I'd like to invite first the teachers, if they would stand and take the center aisle and just face, left to right and then facing in, because then the children and youth will join you there. And kind of run, up and down, don't kind of settle on the front, move through the sanctuary. And this is a chance for everybody else to see who our teachers are this year and to offer a silent gratitude to them for all the work and energy they're bringing to our Sunday school program. That's right, all you teachers. Kirsten, you can come too, unless you're staying. Yep, come on in. Okay, so spread down. As you can see, there's kind of it's kind of like on the bus, everyone's like, down in the back. There you go, very good. You don't have to go all the way down, spread out. Yeah, there you go. But, pacing. All right, children and youth, we'd like to invite you to join the teachers, and you're going to stand between them, and if you can kind of be facing one another as best you can, left to right, do your best. And you don't have to be necessarily in front of your particular teacher, just know that you're going to be surrounded by all that love and energy. Okay, Theo, Luna, William, Rocky, Zoe, come on down. We've got a big crew this year. Okay, and kids, fill out. You've got that. Look at all the teachers. They go way back. So you've got space all through that aisle. Yeah, spread them down. There you go. All right, we've got almost everybody there. And then I'm going to invite the rest of the congregation to stand as you're able and turn inward so that your energy is really moving inward. And if you're comfortable placing your hands on the shoulders of the person in front of you. If you're not, just to have you be close by and comfortable. And if you're uncomfortable having someone touch your shoulders, just to let them know, and they'll be thoughtful and mindful for that. Okay, so here's the last little bit of instruction. You are going to have a refrain that Vanessa and I will help you with, and the refrain we'll practice together after I say it a couple of times. The refrain is, we grow deeper and better together. We grow deeper and better together. All together, we grow deeper and better together. Let us begin.
We come together grateful for the gift of life and the blessings that come from being in community with one another. May the deep connections and friendships grow between us stronger and stronger in the days to come. We grow deeper and better together.
We welcome back our children, youth, and families. May the coming year deepen connections, invite lively exploration, create numerous opportunities for fun and laughter, and strengthening spiritual foundations.
We grow deeper and better together. We offer thanks and appreciation for our Sunday school teachers, grateful for your loving presence and your spiritual guidance, all that you bring to our children and our youth this year, to all who will teach and lead in our adult learning circles, to the spirit of learning and the growing of a soul. We grow deeper and better together.
We commit ourselves to practice our Unitarian Universalist principles, working to build beloved community between us and bring our message of radical love and compassion out into the world. We grow deeper and better together.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
I'm the treasurer on your board of trustees, and we're really pushing for all announcements to be printed, so encourage you all to read them all. There are upcoming acts of witness. Next week, the first Sunday Forum begins at 9:30 a.m. with Professor Bill Hing, Director of USF's Immigration and Defense Clinic. There are other classes. Small group ministries is beginning. Please look it over and consider yourself to be invited to be a part of the larger life of this community that happens beyond this hour together, all the details of which are in your Sunday program. And now, Carrie Steere-Salazar, our board chair, and Judy Payne would like to announce this year's Ann Dillon awardee.
Good morning. Each year, the Board of Trustees selects a person who embodies characteristics of our late member, Ann Dillon, who moved quietly in our community, performing random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty, as her bumper sticker proudly stated. Passionate about the environment, she carried a bag for picking up trash wherever she walked or snorkeled. An active PFLAG member and founder, museum docent, church board and choir member, and many, many, many other things. She was a good friend to many and remembered fondly by all who knew her.
Like Anne, our honoree is an activist, leading us to responsible energy use, watching our finances and balancing our books, caring for ailing friends, collecting for the food bank, and serving our community for many years and in many ways, always willing to serve when asked or when she perceived a need. She is calm, modest, yet persistent. She is passionate, especially about our environment, but also about all her beliefs, and she is held in positive regard by all who know her.
You've probably guessed that we're talking about Margaret Pearce. Please come forward, Margaret. Come on, Margaret. Come forward, please. I'm sure there are a few people who don't know you, but Margaret will soon be leaving us for Louisville, Kentucky, where we predict She will carry on making the world a better place. We'll miss you, Margaret, and hope you visit often. Thank you.
I don't have anything much to say, but just thank you all so much. And thank you all so much for all of these years of being together. I think it's been about 40, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful part of my life. And I will miss you all, and I am going to come back and visit.
Well, in the spirit of continuing to pay attention to our environment, our offering this morning, everything that isn't marked pledge, will be given to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee for its efforts to help out those who were hurt this week by Hurricane Dorian. The 50% of the residents of the Bahamas whose homes were destroyed, the 60,000 who have no access to clean water or food. And we will authorize them that if they collect too much money for this effort, if the world is so generous that this can go toward their larger fundraising to help those who are being steadily displaced by climate change, islands where the waters are slowly rising. So even as we work to solve the problem, keep the planet alive, we step forward generously to support those who bear its worst brunt at the moment. And so our offering will be both given and gratefully received. For those who were away most of the summer, you probably missed the fact that starting in late July, the church community gathered on the steps of this building on Sundays after church for a half an hour, and then on Wednesday mornings, and there are details about the ongoing work to witness to some of what is going on in the world that breaks our hearts. And we have brought a ritual of remembrance and commitment into our services as part of that effort. recognizing there is human suffering all over this world in wars declared and undeclared, or in the course of natural and human catastrophes, we will ring our gong this morning in honor of two such places of suffering. In honor this morning of the homes and lives torn apart by the hurricane. For that, we will ring our gong once, holding those people in our hearts, those islands. And for the children who have lost their lives this year in federal custody at our detainment camps, we will ring our gong 7 additional times. Let its ringing symbolically stand also for other adults in these camps, 70,000 at last count, and the 11,000 children still being held, many away from their families. Let it stand for those who seek a better way for their families, freedom from fear, from Syria to the Rio Grande, through time to now. And for all we know, also, in our own lives who are struggling, held in our hearts in this moment. So we keep all of these people, their loved ones, in our thoughts and prayers, and commit in this moment to ease the tide of human suffering this coming week, howsoever we can.
I invite you now to surrender to the support of your seat for a time of contemplation or prayer. As we reflect together in the embrace and the shelter of this loving community, let us be mindful of those who suffer, those among us and those beyond our walls, people we have never met, in places we have never been. Voices of suffering fill the sky. Voices of those who grieve, those who are in pain, those who feel anxious, those who feel alone, those who have been wronged. May all who suffer find relief, safety, and comfort. May we all know wholeness and joy. May we all find peace. I invite you now to bring attention to your breathing. Our breath reminds us of our connection to each other and to all living things. It reminds us that being made of stardust, we belong to all creation. We share now a time of silence for about 6 or 7 deep breaths.
was so beautiful. Our reading today comes from a book entitled Native Country of the Heart by Cherríe Moraga. Everything about our upbringing as Mexican-American children revered our elders. With elders, we learned to offer a glass of water, a cup of coffee, the last empty chair in a room. We extended our arm for them to hold as they crossed the street, got out of a car, stepped into a bathtub. With elders, we learned to refrain from comments when we disagreed, endured long hours of visits without asking to eat, and never refused what was offered to us, no matter how stale the saltines. With elders, we also learned that if we made ourselves invisible enough, they might forget we were there and reveal all stories with the power to conjure a past as stained and gray with intrigue as the aging photographs that held them. Here ends the reading. Please now rise as you're able and willing and join in singing from the Teal hymnal, hymn 1051, We Are.
I love that hymn. I always get lost following where the music goes. But I just assume that's because I never studied an instrument, at least never for more than a very short period of time. La fuerza de Elvira. I cast the character of my mother in Spanish because all that I understand as strong, as capable, as having principled values resides first in the 100-pound mestiza body of my mother, writes Cherríe Moraga, poet, playwright, cultural activist, but maybe first and foremost, daughter of Elvira. In her book, Native Country of the Heart, Moraga writes a memoir of her mother, and it is more than a memoir of a woman. It is a reminder of how we are all shaped. Elvira Moraga began her life in the United States, born here, living her early childhood just north of the Mexican border in the Imperial Valley. One of her early memories is of being hired out by her father at 11 years old, along with all of her school-aged siblings, to pick cotton. Elvira dragging her 3-year-old brother behind on an empty sack as she went along the rows. Then it was 1929 and the stock market crashed, and anti-Mexican, anti-immigrant sentiment rose, and her family made a voluntary move back across the border to Tijuana. 1930s, Tijuana seemed like it escaped the depression from the descriptions that Cherríe Moraga gives. It was thriving. Elvira went to work as a cigarette girl in one of the most popular clubs, El Agua Caliente. Hollywood stars would show up there, frequent the clubs that were filled with glamorous people. Hearing the stories and seeing the pictures of that time, Cherríe Moraga would wonder whether that time in her mother's life made ordinary Mexican-American life later, maybe life anywhere, forever impossible to compare with. How you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Tijuana in the 30s, her daughter quips. Later, Elvira would move back to the US. She would marry an Irish-American man who craved the kind of family and belonging that his wife made possible. And he would take a back seat to the life that she orchestrated. They would run his family's hotel in, I think it's Pasadena for a while, but later they would settle in the San Gabriel Valley. There they were surrounded by this vast collection of family. And Elvira would be the center that held. She was someone who could handle so much and so many in the world, Cherríe Moraga writes. In our extended familia, she served as the planet around which our near 100 relations hovered like orbiting moons. Over the years, I came to realize that what kept us all gravitating to the sphere of my mother's kitchen, aside from her incomparable chili colorado, was our shared sense of su fuerza incansable, her indefatigable strength. She was not always right, but she was always, until the last years of her life, presente. From her kitchen and home, Elvira would dispense truth and wisdom and guidance. She would tell stories. When Elvira developed Alzheimer's in her 80s, Cherríe realizes that the cost of that disease to all of them would be that her mother, the Cuentista, the storyteller, will take her stories with her. More than that, she'll take their culture. the way back to knowing and remembering who they were that Elvira seemed to offer clues for. Some of Elvira's truths came in the form of hard-won mantras or dichos, sayings to live by. There was one in particular that she offered up most. Moraga writes, Elvira raised her children and guided all those that came through the doors for counsel with a foundational set of values that can best be summed up in the phrase, no te dejes. Don't get used or taken advantage of or abused. Although not always told to me in Spanish, it was later that I learned that so much of what my mother taught her families were translations from a worldview conjured from an invaded and fractured Mexico, but one that preferred the welded tools, one that served as tools for our survival in Gringolandia. No te dejes didn't keep me from experimenting as my generation imagined itself doing during the liberation movements of the 1970s, Cherríe Moraga writes, but it did tell me when to leave the bar or the bed of a batterer. It reminded me to step away from the cruelty of gossip and learn to hold my own cruel tongue. It developed in me a fierce judge of character, one as tough on myself as others, and finally it made it very difficult to lie. It was not a happy childhood, but a true one. Truth, it would seem, was at the core of Elvira's storytelling. Truth of one's own wisdom, taken from one's own life, offered for them to use in their own. So Elvira shares her own as honestly as she can with her children, all of it. I am 9 years old, Cherríe Moraga writes. It is a Saturday chore day. I'm vacuuming the hallway. I have something to tell you, my mother says over the blast of the suction from the Kenmore. I watch the unease in her eyes and the rope that she makes of the dish towel she wrings at the waist of her apron. My heart quickens and I hit the off switch with my sandaled toe. Yeah, mija, I was married before your father. They had met during the war, she says, and that's about all she says. I'm relieved to learn that there were no other children, relieved to put a name and a story to the stranger's portrait, foreign and blonde, that I once found laying at the bottom of the red and white May Company box in the cupboard. Many years later, my mother revealed that she was the one who decided to divorce when she learned her husband had re-enlisted in the war. It was so he could have other women, she said. Too many women in too many ports is how I remember it. Stories like this will shape the girl who Moraga is into someone who takes from it that knowing your own heart and following it is central to what life asks of us. That you can live after heartbreak, after mistakes, but also that nothing is worth relinquishing the truth your heart calls you to live. It is a message that a girl who knows she is attracted to women at a very young age will very early put into practice. Imagine it is the lead up to the rite of confirmation in the Catholic Church, And Cherríe Moraga has been taught not to lie. She has been taught to honor the rules, in this case, the ones about going to confession and confessing, about being forgiven and being free of sin when you step up onto the altar on the day that you are confirmed. Looking for guidance and instruction about the feelings she has, seeking forgiveness, she goes again and again to the confession booth and receives only recrimination. "Don't come back here," the priest says. "It's your 4th confession that week. You are crazy. You need to get some help." The confessional grill slams shut before your latticed, shadowed face. You rise, push your weight against the huge oak doors, and step back out into your masquerade life. Cherríe Moraga will live the full brunt early on of what her mother's fierce lessons about life require of a person. She'll learn that this honesty extracts its pound of flesh before it blesses you. And she'll find her way through to the real wisdom and power that I imagine her mother knew always waited on the other side of such moments, as she herself had found. So it is that later in life, the daughter will haltingly tell her mother what she had risked so long ago telling the priest behind that latticed confessional booth divider. And her mother will teach her one more lesson. In the drama and the upset of hearing that her daughter is lesbian, Elvira's response is such that Cherríe is forced to say what she always feared she would have to name the Sophie's choice that truth might require of her, that this truth might require of her. "Don't make me choose, Mama," she says. "Because if I have to choose between this life and my family, I have to choose this life." And the world suddenly goes quiet. Elvira goes still, and her daughter waits. And when her mother speaks, all the fury and upset is completely gone, and she says only this: "How could you think that there is anything in this life you could do that you wouldn't be my daughter?" And that's it, Moraga says. They would endure a lot of each other's foibles and choices and the twists and turns of each other's lives. But, Moraga said, we did not lose each other by pretending we were other than who we were. And the courageous daughter can perhaps be even more courageous, and she will be in her life, standing on that truth that she stands on, that unshakable love. Plus, she now has a story she can tell that reminds her and others of that truth. So, why am I telling you about this woman and her mother on our opening Sunday? Because it's the book that's sticking with me and we have freedom of the pulpit? Because we sing a doxology, a second verse in Spanish, and do little else to name and honor the Chicano and Chicana heritage that so richly blesses our city and so many of our lives, mine included, yes. But also because The image of Elvira's kitchen with its food and the laughter and the elders talking and the advice and the storytelling and the dichos that get gathered up there that reground everybody in who they really are and how to live in this world with dignity and courage and heart, because that felt so appealing and so like what I hope this is that we do together. What it is. The feeding of each other and the telling stories and the listening for the wisdom. One person in the strategic planning notes that we gathered last spring and this summer said they thought we tell too many stories of our own history as Unitarians or Universalists or in this congregation that make us the heroes, and we need to talk more about our mistakes. Point taken. We need to tell all the stories. An honest accounting. Because as we know, sometimes the best truths come out of the places where we stumbled. And someone else said they wanted to hear more reflections from our members, life passed through the fire of thought from everyone among us. As Emerson would have called it, life passed through the fire of thought. The best kind of teacher, point taken. And then to find places to share all that reflecting. And to see our own stories for what they are, which is rich offerings, anchors and north stars, but not just for us, maybe for someone else. There's a story coming in right there on the phone. Just wants to be told, can't stand it. We are, after all, storytellers, right? We're all cuentistas. And we're all people who are always and have always and had our time sitting at the feet of elders, and we've served our coffee and we've listened. We are both the tellers of the story, the listeners, holding a place, looking for something that will give us a little guidance before we head back out the doors into the world beyond them, wondering how to make something strong and gorgeous of every week of life. So what stories were you told about who you were and what you were called to be in the world? And who told them to you? And what stories have you gathered along the way already in life worth telling? And what stories do we all need to hear right now to step out into the week that confronts us and the world that faces us with our hearts intact in the midst of it? And what stories will we write this year? Come into this life together, all of us, I hope. Let us come in never pretending to be other than who we are. Come prepared to share what you know, how you came to know it, the stories and dichos that you have to offer. Come into another year of life in this familia. Amor y la fuerza incansable be ours. Blessings in this new year just begun. Amen. that hymn, not only beautiful and apropos, and you don't need to be seated, put down your hymnals, we're going to join hands, was written by Mark DeWolf, who was here for a time connected with this community, and I think our first out gay minister in the movement who died of AIDS. I was in a study group with his father, and it was a broken-hearted place for his very stoic dad for their entire lives. So another story and act of courage and beauty brought into this space. After service, we will go, if you are moved to get a cup of coffee or take a moment for yourself, and then those who wish to can join on the steps for our half hour of witness. We'll let you know when it begins. And now in our comings and our goings, may the light of love shine upon us. Out from within us, be gracious unto us, and grant us peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice, to be glad in it. Amen.